I honestly don't know where to begin. This video is going to be a little bit hard to make. I'm gonna try not to cry in the middle of it, but I feel like, sorry, my camera's not standing. I feel like there is a lot of updating and filling you in to do. So let's start first by saying I am playing non-copyright music in the background and hoping that I don't get copyrighted for it or that it's not too loud. So you guys know I moved out last March, so March 2021, of my dad's house, and the only reason I moved was because he wanted to pursue his dream of traveling Canada in an RV, and I had to accept that. I didn't really have a choice, but I found a job that I absolutely love and I'm enjoying it so much. Like, I can't explain how much this workplace has really changed my life in a sense of like good things. I'm very happy with the environment, the people that I work with. The supervisors are amazing. Even big bosses like the director, they're amazing too, the three of them. I've met them briefly and I've heard good, positive stories towards them, like nothing really negative. So I really enjoy my job and can see myself being there for another few years or longer even. I've been there so far for a year, just about. It'll be 1 year in March, actually March 9th to be exact, which is actually my cousin's birthday. So niece, if you're wondering, I started on your birthday and I started my job. So anyways, I moved out last year on the 15th of February, and I moved into a studio apartment of like a neighbor, and it went well until she started to get into heavy drugs and alcohol, and she started to take it all out on me. And her husband did the same thing. He was heavy in drugs, and they have 2 kids. So I kind of fought back with basically fighting for the kids, and she just started. So we had a laundry situation where I was in the basement studio apartment, and she would have to come downstairs into my apartment fully and go into my bathroom to go into the laundry room, which is a door off of my bathroom. And I didn't want her going downstairs unless I was home, because 1, I had the cat, and 2, I didn't trust her at this point. I took away her rights. I had the police involved, and I had the tenant board involved, and it was just a lot of stress. And so once I took her laundry rights away, because it was a privilege that I agreed to, because I moved in winter, and it was something that I said, yeah, like she only needed to do laundry once a week. It ended up being 4 days a week. I have a work schedule. I work on my schedule, not yours. That's the way that I pointed it to them. It was basically when I was free and home, she could do her laundry. because really she has a unit upstairs. Why is she using mine? So at that point, I just went through a lot of stress and a lot of it was just traumatizing and horrible and not an environment I wanted to be in. So I started looking for more places, and I found my current place. In December, I moved here, and I started vlogging on another channel. And I don't know if I'm going to post those videos, but some of them maybe. But my place is currently all over the place. Like, it's a disaster at the moment. I had my mom come over and I have family coming down. We'll get more into that. But, so December, I want to say December 9 or December 13th. Anyways, it was sometime in that frame. But you guys know on this channel I posted videos of Maya, and we ended up having to put her to sleep. She couldn't even walk up 2 steps to get into the trailer that my dad was living in, and she was just she wasn't doing well. She was very unhealthy looking, and I love her to pieces. I miss her, but there's nothing that I could have done. I live 3.5 hours away from my dad, and so he had to take her to the vet, and they ended up putting her to sleep. So I found out a couple days later about it, and I do still have the cat who's currently peeking around the corner in my video. But this place has been a little bit of a challenge. The people upstairs have never had tenants in the basement, and they complain about everything. And they've just made it such a hard, way of living. I play music, the level that's playing right now, because they snore, and they snore really loud. So I play music to block out that, and they complain that my music is too loud. So I really don't know what I can do there. I told my landlord, I play music because I'm blocking out their noise. At 2 a.m, they're snoring, they're loud. My mom couldn't even sleep. She stayed for a week. She couldn't even sleep half of the week because she can hear them snoring upstairs. They're up at 2, 3 a.m. walking around, and I'm a deep sleeper, so sometimes I can just sleep through it. But most times, lately, I haven't been able to sleep, and I'll explain why in a second. But so there's just been issues here, and on top of all of that, I've been dealing with my my stepmom, my uncle, my mom, my brother, and we've all teamed together to try to figure out. So on last Monday, my dad had a heart attack and passed away, and it's been really hard. It's been hard on me, it's been hard on my brother, it's been hard on my uncle. The 3 of us are taking it really hard. And as much as I try to, I stay strong. Now, I may not be very emotional and show my emotions, but I do take antidepressants because if you guys follow my history, I have had depression episodes where I have tried to kill myself, and I have sliced up my wrists, and so I've gone into like counseling, I've gone into a hospital for treatment, and I've just been on a journey to healing, and this is something that I want to keep myself strong for and to try not to break at that point. So I've been really trying to figure out what's next. What are we going to do with all my dad's stuff? Where are we going to put it? What are we going to do with it? Are we going to sell some of it? Are we going to keep it? Like, is my brother going to go half with me on a storage unit? Like, it's just all of these different things that, and this was like totally unexpected. So it's all of these things that weren't planned for. And like, as much as like my stepmom and I, like, we never really got along like a mother and daughter. And I do feel like this is something that has brought us closer. And I do feel like we can get through this in a more like positive way than trying to figure it out by arguing and fighting. And my uncle is being amazing support and help, and he's been like by our side making sure we're okay, and all of my family who most of you follow me on this channel who have been messaging me every day to make sure I'm okay and checking in, seeing if I wanted food. Like, all of you guys are so amazing, and I thank you so much. And I do want you guys to know, like, I do love you guys. And even though I don't talk to anyone very much, it is because we're all human, and I work 2 jobs. I try to pay my bills and try to figure out things. Like, my days are basically wake up 5 in the morning, go to work till 5 p.m. And then after my 5 p.m. shift, or sometimes 6 o'clock, I do another 4 hours of work. And I try to make a little bit of extra money. And then I come home, I shower, I make dinner, I go to bed. Like, that's my day, literally. And these past 2 weeks have really taught me, like, family is everything, and I absolutely love every single one. Even if you guys didn't get along with my dad or myself or anyone, I still know that we're all family, we stick together, and my dad was loved by everybody, and I have to kind of accept the past as the past and let go on things, because there has been some things that have happened that have really scarred me deeply, and I've kind of come to amends to let it go. But I need to be strong for Dad, and I know that he's watching over me and making sure that I do stay strong, and making sure that I am okay. And I know that's all he would want, and I know that he would want to see me be happy and not go into such a deep depression. Like I have in the past, he was my main support. Well, one of them. I mean, he caused a lot of trauma too. But at the end of the day, my dad is the only one who understood what my depression is like and how I handle it and how hard it can be, because he went through the same thing and he lived it. He lost his brother and he went through it. and like I have other reasons, and pretty much never got help till 2 years ago, and my dad was right there by my side to make sure I got into the counseling that I needed and into the help that I needed. And I feel like if I go into a deep depression or do something stupid, I'm just gonna let him down. And I don't want that. And not just him. I don't want to let my mom down either. And so I've been trying to stay strong and trying to, although I don't want to emotionally freeze my emotions, because that's what my antidepressants do, I have to, because until we bury my dad, then everything is still kind of like a shock. And the only thing that made it feel real was yesterday, Sunday, when we actually signed paperwork and we got his death certificate. And that's something that made it feel like something so surreal. And it hurts. And I know, like, as much as it hurts, I still need to be strong. And I still need to take care of myself mentally and physically. Mostly mentally. I need to make sure that I'm eating and not just starving myself. And make sure that I go to my counseling classes, which I have been. And just focus on taking care of me. Because at the end of the day, I do live on my own. I don't have a main door entrance. Like, I have a side door, and then you walk downstairs into the common space. And then my apartment is all for the common space. But my mom doesn't have a key to my place. Like, nobody has any keys to my place besides the people upstairs and our landlord. And the people, like, I want to rephrase that. The only person that has a key to my door is my landlord. And, like, the tenant that's upstairs have been just causing problems and making it harder to deal with. Like, my dad's death. And then today I got a message from my landlord, like, are you sure you really want to live here? Like, did you make up your mind you don't like it here? Like, it was just a straight up very rude comment and message. Like, no, like, I've never complained. I've only complained once because the guy was parked blocking my parking spot. And then, like, everything else has been dealt with. And there's nothing I can do. The only way to communicate is through my landlord. And so anyways, that's been a lot of stress put on me as well, because it's not just me that's dealing with it. Like, my mom came to support me, to be by my side through the whole thing from the moment that I found out my dad passed away. And she knew I would be silently in shock. And so she stayed with me till I was able to process and really view the reality of it all and find out. And at that point, my stepmom was also, I guess, in a sense, in shock, because the way that she spoke to me about it was, like, was hurtful. She messaged me from my dad's phone, and that really hurt. Other than that, there's really no new news for the year besides just going through all of this, the changes with work, starting anew. Oh, I did get promoted to full-time work, so I went from a part-timer and I got promoted to a full-timer, which is something that I really wanted. So now I am stable and working, although I've been off for 2 weeks, and financially I'll figure it out. But, like, you can't just, like, last Monday I wanted to go to work on Tuesday, and my mom actually took my phone from me and told my supervisors for me, like, hey, this is Tasha's mom, like, she messaged them for me, because I was telling them, like, I'll be in tomorrow, like, no matter what, I wanted to go in, and in a sense, I'm glad I didn't, because Tuesday was a really tough day, and this week has been a little bit more easy. I've been able to kind of process things, and like I spoke to a counselor on the weekend and got like last week and the weekend, but mainly my main counselor I talked to on Saturday, and I went to see her, and she basically told me to look at the bright side and think of things like my trauma, my past that's caused me hurt and pain and trauma and put me into the majority of my depression is gone now. And as much as I don't want to look at it like that, because he was my dad and he's always going to be my dad, he's my biological father, and I try to really put the past and like all the things that trauma that's been caused away. And like we were working on our relationship, and we all went through a hard time when my parents split up. I went through a really rough teenage years. I went through a hard past. Like, my past was really hard to deal with, and which is something I don't talk to anybody about. I don't talk to anyone anymore. My enemy at the time of my high school years is now one of my best friends, and she's been by my side. Like, she hurt me in the long run, like when we were teenagers, and she caused a lot of my heartache and pain at that time when I was dating my ex, and he basically cheated with her during that time. But we were all teenagers, we all had our own lives, we did stupid things, you know. Anyways, I forgave and forget for that, and like now she's married and has 2 kids, and like she's in a whole different world, and she has a whole different life, and she's been my biggest support going through all of this. And my other best friend, she's also been there for me through it all, and it's been a really rough time, and I know time is only going to heal everything, and I know that I probably should have got help in 2013 when I knew I had depression and I knew I was dealing with all of this, whereas I just put counseling aside. I didn't go to my counseling. I barely went to classes. I took my parents' divorce very rough. And I probably should have taken care of myself more, because I'm learning now that you need to take care of yourself, and you need to focus on you sometimes. And that's what this whole past year, well, like this year and last year, has really taught me, is to take care of myself and focus on me and my mental health, and make sure that I can be strong like I am being strong today, and like I have tried to be strong. Like, I have my moments, but it's not like I'm going to go into a deep episode where I end up like cutting myself, or I end up overdosing on medication, or like things like that have happened in the past. And I've really learned how to control myself when it comes to that. So that is kind of my update, and pretty much all that I can say. And I know that there's a good close to 2,000 people subscribed to my channel, and I really do want to try and grow even more. So as I take time to myself and focus on me, and continue to take care of myself and focus on me and work and be able to afford bills and make sure that I can pay my bills, you know. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say, besides you will see videos very soon. This week I kind of want to just continue, because I still haven't got my dad's ashes, and I want to get my necklace before I start doing anything with videos, because I know my dad really supported me with my channel, and that's something that we had a real big bond over. So I want to try and keep that going. And yes, I do have a health update. I do have a lung condition that is like pneumonia, but I also have diagnosed asthma. And it doesn't really help being sick as well. I mean, I've kind of gotten over the flu, but I was sick for a good period there. I wasn't even allowed to go to the hospital to see my dad because I was sick. And everyone's like, you should be happy you didn't get to see him, but no, I'm not happy. I wanted to see my dad. I wanted to see him before he went into donating. Well, my dad donated a lot of his organs, and I'm happy to see that he donated. He was a match to some really young kids, which more so melts my heart than anything, because I know that my dad helped out somebody who has a life ahead of them. And like, I've been there. I had like operations and stuff when I was little, and I know what it's like. I have family who needed organ donations and stuff. So I'm glad my dad was able to agree to doing donations. And he allowed, like, my stepmom didn't want to go through with it until she got permission from my brother and I. And even though it was something that my dad wanted and wanted to make sure she wanted to make sure that we agreed to it, because at the end of the day, she didn't want to be the one to make the decision. She wanted to make sure that it was everybody on the same page. And that's how it's been with, like, everything. So she's really keeping us in the loop. It's just we're not getting anywhere because he's not even cremated yet. And I think by the time you guys are seeing this, he'll be cremated on Tuesday, January 25th. And so that's one main reason why I'm still awake. It's because I'm not going to be able to sleep till I know that it's been done, and till I know that I can go and pick up my father's ashes, because that's one thing that I don't know if I'll be able to live without knowing. And so that's kind of all and everything that I can update you with right now without giving too much information that I can't, like, don't know the answer to. But as you can tell, my throat is getting dry, so I'm gonna go and get some water and take my puffers, because my cat is shedding, so my asthma is acting up. And she just wagged her tail, which is why I took it on her fur. But I'll see you guys in my next video, and just know I'll be okay.